Hey, it's me, MLB. Here's chapter 37 of Chanceball, and this one is titled Heading Home. You need sleep. You're going to feel this in the morning, you mumbled as you ran your fingers through his spiky black hair. As his body went limp, you rolled him off onto his back, tugging the bed sheets back and then taking your dress, bra and shoes off and crawling back in beside him. He was already out to it, his heavy, slow breaths making you fall in love all over again as you pulled your bare body into his side, the feeling of his ribs rising and falling against your stomach and breasts. Tenderly you placed a hand on his chest and ran your fingers down his front, feeling the marred tissue and then the soft flesh where he hadn't been burned. I love this man with all my heart, you thought, as you lifted your head and pressed your lips to his scarred cheekbones, just under his eye. He didn't even stir. He was so completely worn out by the day, and night's events, that you could have done anything to him and he wouldn't have woken. Sleepily you grinned and then settled into his side again, the tipsy feeling overtaking you and forcing you into a dreamland as the party slowly wrapped up downstairs, most of the attendants leaving around 4 a.m. Who knows what time it was when you finally stirred later that day. Dabi was still passed out beside you, and you slowly roused and then groaned a little as you sat up, furrowing your brows as you opened your eyes. Ugh, I feel a little worse for wear, but Dabi was way drunker than I am, so he's going to be a train wreck. You closed your eyes again and listened for any noise downstairs, but all was quiet, so you slipped out of bed and threw your dress on from last night so that you could venture out without scaring anybody first thing in the middle of the day. Opening the door softly, you slipped out into the hallway and walked noiselessly to the bathroom. Oh wow, you mumbled when you saw how you looked in the mirror. Sexy. Walking over to the toilet, you heard a noise from the shower, so reached over and pulled the curtain back to find some random Nekoma player passed out in there. Oh! You gasped with fright, and then relaxed. Oi! You hissed at the still semi-passed-out player. Get out, I need to pee. Where am I? The guy groaned as he sat up. In the shower. What the hell? Yeah, I know. I need to pee. Can you get out, please? Why the hell are you going to pee in the shower? No, idiot, I'm going to go to the toilet just here. You pointed to the toilet. But you being in the same room as me doesn't exactly make me want to haul my dress up and go. Oh, he murmured, pulling himself up to his feet. Yeah, okay, I'm gone. You watched as he stumbled out of the shower and swayed to the door, exiting and heading off down the hall. How many other random people are strewn across this house? You wondered as you locked the door and did your business. After finishing up, you went back to the bedroom to wake Dabi, finally locating a clock in Kuroo's dimly lit room to see what time it was. 3 p.m? Man, the day's almost gone. You rounded Dabi's side of the bed and crouched down near his face, placing one little kiss on the tip of his nose and then recoiling immediately as he let out a soft sigh, the stench of alcohol hitting you hard in the nostrils. Ugh. Rise and shine, sunshine, you whispered, pinching your nose shut. He took a deep breath in and came to life, groaning as he rolled from his side onto his back. How are you feeling? You asked softly, unpitching your nose. Why are you shouting? Dabi hissed. Oh no, is it that bad? You whispered with amusement. Dabi opened his eyes, blinked a few times, and then shut them again immediately. Right, he grunted, raising one arm up and resting his forearm over his eyes. It's pitch black in here, you chuckled. I want to die, he moaned, rolling onto his side again to face you and breathing right in your face. My head hurts. What happened last night? You got so drunk, that's what, you retorted, grabbing for your nose again. Did I do anything weird? You're always weird, but nothing more than usual, you replied with a chuckle. It's 3 p.m, we should head home. Can we get some really nasty, greasy food on the way home? He moaned pitifully. Of course you can, baby. I'll go and see who's still downstairs and who can give us a ride home, you said, stroking his forehead lovingly. Thank you, Mummy, he whispered. You weirdo, you chuckled, flicking his forehead before getting up and heading to the door. I'll be back. You walked out and down the stairs, looking around at the mess. It was carnage. Beer cans and other various alcoholic beverages were strewn across the house from one end to the other, and each lounge had someone passed out on it. Most of the sleeping victims had dicks drawn all over their faces. What a night, you thought with an internal chuckle as you slowly walked down into the fray. I think Dabi and his group mostly spent the night talking, but it looks like the others had a blast. You glanced out the back door and saw someone asleep on the inflatable unicorn floating aimlessly around the pool with a pair of dark shades on. What even is this? You smirked, watching them bump into the other end of the pool and start back the other way with a little wobble. And someone groaned, and he looked over to see Sadano and Kuroo sprawled out on the deck chairs nearby. "Hi, you both survived, I see," he said with amusement, noting that Kuroo's hair was completely unchanged from his usual look. "Kuroo, how is your hair still perfect?" you asked with a chuckle. "Born with it," he mumbled, throwing up the backwards peace sign before closing his eyes and flopping his head the other way. You chuckled as you walked over to Sadano. "Is Dabi okay?" he asked, grunting as he sat up. "Yeah, he's pretty smashed still, though. I came to see if someone could give us a ride home," you said with a smile. "And I'm it, am I?" Sadano chuckled. "Tell Dabi he's a frickin' lightweight if he's hungover only after 9 beers. "Only?" you thought. "Yeah, I can drop you home. No worries," Sadano continued as he got up from the deck chair and stretched. "Thanks," he replied gratefully, before heading back inside to tell Dabi. After dragging your sorry sack of a man to the shower to try and sober him up, you got him back into his clothes and then helped him down the stairs. "Soldier," Dabi called to Kuroo, who had surfaced now and was making food. "Hey, Captain," Kuroo called with a smirk. "You obviously can't remember last night's announcement then." "What do you mean? What happened?" Dabi asked, still leaning heavily on you. "You made me Nekoma's captain," Kuroo replied. "Drunk me is smart," Dabi said with a sly grin, letting go of you to hold his hand out to slap Kuroo's in a friendly greeting. "I still think you'd be the perfect captain," he added with a wink. "Consider it official." Kuroo beamed. "Thank you, Cap." "Carry on," Dabi said dismissively, waving him back to his work as he turned to you. "So you said you'd gotten us a ride?" "Yep," you replied happily. "Me," Sadano said, popping his head out from around the corner. "Oh, not this bastard," Dabi teased. "Rather walk on glass all the way home." "Rude much," Sadano quipped. "Fine, I'll take Yin home and you can walk. Come on, baby," he said to you. "The hell?" Dabi snapped. "No way you're getting the privilege of being in the same car as my girl without me there." "Looks like he's coming then," Sadano said to you with a shrug. It's a shame," you replied cheekily. "Watch that pretty little mouth, hey?" Dabi growled as he grabbed your chin and forced you to look into his eyes. "You know how I get when I'm worked up." "Hot. Me next, Dabi," Sadano teased. "Be careful what you wish for." Dabi leered back at him. "I'd tear your ass in two with my monster dong." "I'm not even going to acknowledge that you referred to your dick as a monster dong," Sadano said as he waved his hand and led the way out through the lounge to the front of the house where his car was parked. "You know you want the MD." Dabi sneered as you followed behind. "Medical doctor? Yeah, I do. I have concerns for the mental health of my ex-volleyball captain," Sadano jeered, opening the rear door of his car and gesturing for Dabi to hop in. "Get in, loser. Your girl's going to ride up front in case you decide to throw up. Don't want her getting all dirty." You overheard the conversation as you walked around to the passenger side of the car and pulled the door open. "Oh, you're so sweet, Sadano," you said, while looking at Dabi cheekily. "At least someone in this car appreciates a lady." "I appreciate you a lot. I appreciated you a lot last night," Dabi replied. "Your value appreciates daily. Screw investing in property, I'm investing in you, baby." He slid along the back seat and shot you the finger guns before collapsing sideways. "That would have been such a cool line if you didn't screw up the ending," you teased, looking over the back seat as he lay there dazed. "Is he dead?" Sadano asked as he hopped into the driver's seat beside you and pulled the seatbelt on. "No," you replied. "Just really hungover." "Damn," Sadano quipped with a smirk. "F you, Dano," Dabi growled. "If I ever die and find out you took my wife, I'll come and haunt the hell out of you. I'll call on your grandma's ghost too. Get her to twerk on your volleyball." "Do you hear this disrespect?" Sadano asked you as he pulled out onto the street. "I do," you mused as he sat down and pulled your belt on. "I don't know that man." You love me," Dabi groaned from the back seat. "Hey, Sadano, you got fragile cargo on board? Easy on the clutch or I'll throw it back here." "Don't you frickin' dare," he snapped. "Where's the closest takeaway shop?" "Main road," Dabi replied. "It's the shonky dude one, Yin," he added so you'd know which one he meant. "Oh, yeah, that one," you replied. "It's near school, Sadano." "You two have your own language," the brown-haired player mused. "That's not all we have," Dabi said with a smirk. Sadano shook his head in reply. "Not even going to go there, buddy." You smiled to yourself and kept your eyes on the road, giving directions every so often to the brown-haired teammate that was kind enough to put up with your and Dabi's weirdness. After successfully getting some greasy food, Sadano drove you both to your respective homes, dropping you off first. "Ah, the walk of shame," you said with an embarrassed chuckle as you hopped out of the car and turned back to thank Sadano. "Can't walk it," Dabi mumbled from the back seat, his mouth still full of something oily. "I'm just going to duck and run," he said with a grimace. "Sadano, thank you." You gave him a genuine smile. "And Dabi, screw you." "Screw you too," he replied with a mouthful. "With hearts." "Red ones," he replied with a grin. "You two need some help," Sadano muttered, shaking his head. "She's my therapist." "I'll see you for my next appointment, baby," Dabi replied with a wave. You snorted with amusement and stepped back, letting Sadano drive away before you turned and headed slowly to the front door, looking like a living, walking train wreck. And there ends chapter 37. Stay tuned for chapter 38 coming tomorrow. I'll see you then.